So, okay, like usual, my allergies are real bad, so I'm constantly coughing and clearing my throat. So I will mute myself.
Thank you. Thank you. If everybody will go ahead and mute themselves, we will get started. And I want to reintroduce Rebecca Reynolds from earlier. She is helping us out this afternoon, and I totally owe her a drink. So at least one. So Rebecca, I'm going to let you go, and you are on the clock.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to have a moment of silence for the creator of this slide deck and this presentation. I can't imagine being hurt in the summer. So thank you for his presentation. I'm just going to read through it. I do know stuff about Nearpod, so if you have questions, just let me know. In between the session before, I went to the gym, so I am really sweaty. So we're just, hopefully you can't see my face for the recording. So what is Nearpod? It's a website that allows you to create interactive lesson plans for your students. And if you were in my session on Pear Deck and you got Pear Deck certified, you should be really good to go with Nearpod. They're super similar. And I have like a comparison sheet that I should share with you guys too. So he put, what can Nearpod do for you? So engage students, create lessons, and then grade exit tickets. So there's, I don't think it's called Nearpod. Nearpod creates a login that you can send to each of your students. So you can see who's logged in and who's answering the questions as the lesson progresses. It has a large library of predetermined lessons. So you can pop in there and grab, they do have PE lessons, which is awesome. And you can use their videos. It allows you to create exit tickets and exit quizzes so you can check for understanding, and it works with Google Classroom, which we all love Google integration, or I do. So we're gonna look at the website and if you can split screen and click that link and log in. Well, I'm not logged in on this computer. That would have been smart. I'm modeling how to log in with Google because everyone should have an account. Okay. So here's the website. I'll give you some time to click around. And I think I had this, who helped shape our community, from something I did before, but I haven't done any with PE. So you can share things within your school to other teachers, and it looks like there's resources. You can attend, you can attend trainings and kind of go through kind of like Pear Deck each session. Teacher and admin resources. Yeah, there's so much stuff on here. So we're gonna go, let's look for PE. Showing results. So they have trivia for K through 2. We've got brain bites. These all look fun. That looks a little creepy. HPE with Hef. This is awesome. Okay, so you
That is Lynn. How does she say her name? Robin Heffley or Heffele?
I thought it was helpful, but
it's one of those ways that Robin and I just said. But her name is Lynn. She's good peeps.
Yeah, so you can create stuff and upload it to the public domain or just share with like our PLC in JCPS, which is really nice. I love not recreating the wheel. So if you need help logging in, let me know. I really wish did this go. There we go. So he went through and kind of showed you the opening page. It will be different for when students log in. You'll create classes. And since we are, or you are special area, you will have to create probably multiple classes to join a lesson, depending on what grade level you're teaching. So in order to create a lesson, you're going to find what Nearpod you want to try out. So we just saw a few and some from our friend Miss Hef. And then you're going to click on the tab that says Nearpod Library, and you can look through you can search sports. I just typed physical education, so you could probably be sports specific or people in sports specific. To find lessons around that. I'm sure there's more. So creating a lesson. So it says we're going to choose the Sumo lesson as our example. Immediately after choosing it, you have the option to teach it, and it comes with questions and an exit quiz built into it.
Rebecca, I looked and there are tons of if you look at science and health, there are tons of health ones, more health than there is physical education. And there's also a ton if you just search nutrition in there.
Here's the Sumo one that he wants us to check out.
Rebecca,
So, yes.
do you know how much space we're gonna get? Because I know Nearpod, they use limited space.
So hopefully by August, they will have signed the purchase of premium accounts for Nearpod and Pear Deck. JCPS goes through a huge purchasing, timeline, and my team is on it like every day, bothering purchasing to figure out what's going on, but we promise it's coming. So you should have unlimited soon, which is exciting. So here's a little preview.
6 times a year, these giants battle each other for top placement in Japan's most beloved traditional sport, sumo.
All of my students would be like, why do we see their booties? So I don't know if I should. This is 6th through 8th, 12th grade. I think he might have all these in here.
I think one of the things, I don't know if he's got it coming up, because you can interact it with your Google Slides, and you can embed and you can stop video so it's interactive when you're teaching live.
Miss Robin should have done this. She knows what's up.
Well, there's some tricks I don't know how to do, but like during NTI, I would use the Nearpod, have the video stop, have it ask a question to make sure. So they were doing a movement. They had to pick through the movement by the picture that I put in, inserted or whatever. But because you can use your Google Slides, it makes it really easy to present. And then they don't have to have a necessary extra link or whatever. It was just a little easier because the little ones and technology was not my friend. Yeah.
I think that we all, the little ones, we all know the struggle. So I love that idea. And it looks like he does have to use Google Slides in there. And then it says that you also could just watch the video from the lesson and go in there through Nearpod. So your choice, depending on your grade level. So it says best uses of Nearpod. Sometimes we just need 15 minutes more. Here's a way to get the time you may need without sacrificing the relevancy of the class. So it says, for NTI days, if we continue to have virtual attendance days, Nearpod would be great for creating and engaging our students. And then days when you lose use of your space, which going back in person fully, possibly in the fall, I could see many of you guys losing out on your gym and being outside all day or in a new space or going to their classrooms. It's also different for everyone. So it says that each student can log into their individual device and continue to teach PE wherever you are. I love that. And then it says days when you have a substitute. So hopefully no one gets sick. So you might need a sub. And it says you can set up a lesson so that the sub, all they'll have to do is hit play, and the questions would be automatically asked. So the other great thing with when you have a substitute, and you guys will eventually have those interactive panels, is that the substitute can also go in there and utilize that as well with Nearpod. So it says, let's do a lesson together. We're gonna go to Nearpod, and you guys should already be logged in, and we are going to do a quick 4-minute lesson together. And that's a video. Hold on, I practiced this. Sorry, everyone. I guess you can see what it's like to do this live. So I clicked live participation, and now there is a code up on my screen. I'm going to copy the link because I'm just a great presenter and I need to be doing that more, and drop it in the chat. And we are all going to get on this lesson together. And then it gives you the choice if I'm going to play the video up on my screen or if it will play on yours. And I'm going to do it. So I'm going to play it, and I will wait for people to join. The code is still going to be up on the top for your students that are a little bit slow goers. It says we have 6 participants down at the bottom. You can choose to hide or show your student names, so I can see who's in here. And I love that you can put a nickname. And if Mr. Coach down here is being absolutely ridiculous and whatever, you have the option to remove him. Or if Miss Karen down here, she's doing a great job, I can make her a co-teacher to help me out. I'll give you guys a little time to join.
And Rebecca, you are at your 5-minute mark.
Oh gosh.
If you don't get finished, you don't get finished. It's okay.
Okay.
We just won't spend all 4 minutes in this session,
Yeah,
thing
well, I'll
together.
just start
6
it
times
so you
a
guys
year,
can.
these giants battle.
I might be able to like
This-
fast forward to the question. Okay, so it says, what do you already know about sumo wrestling? And as it displays in front of the class, it will blank out your student names so that if people are answering and you don't want to share, or you can turn that off. So you'll just probably keep going through that. You can see participation. You can share this out. There's so much stinking stuff with Nearpod. 20 minutes is, Okay, so there was that quick lesson together, and thank you for rolling through that quickly with me. And thanks to our good friend who is injured at home, who created that.
That is DeAldon Watson. He was the first day back from NTI. And if I understand this correctly, the kids were playing with tennis rackets and he got hit in the patella tendon with a tennis racket, and his patella tendon ruptured. So he found out yesterday that he can't do anything on workman's comp. So Rebecca, I want to thank you for going through Nearpod. And you said that you think that by August.
You know what? I will update you, MeMe, to update them. We are really pressuring the higher ups, I don't even know who it is, to purchase it. We work closely with Nearpod and Pear Deck, and they were like, we're going to increase the price if you guys don't sign soon. So I don't know what's going on up there, but we will have it.
Rebecca,
Yes.
do you know if we still have the cap of 40 for each lesson?
40 students.
40 students, yes, because I was using as a synchronous tool. And I realized that I have to make several copies of the same class because we have a cap of 40. If I was using it with K in first grade, I have to make 2 copies probably.
If once we're upgraded, it says you can have up to 150 students at a time.
Sounds good.
So hopefully that happens. But yeah, it usually, if you have the free account, it will limit you. So you will have that update soon. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Miss Robin, we're ready for you.
I just want, before Robin begins, I just want you to know how lucky we are to have you still involved in health and PE. I was really, really sad when you left last year, but I was excited to know that you were going to be the person that we were working with. And one of the things I want to promise you guys is that we will be utilizing Rebecca more. And just like she said on her sessions earlier, if you want to try out something, go ahead and reach out. She's Rebecca.Reynolds. And she is super responsive. She's on Twitter. If you want to add your Twitter down there to Rebecca.
I would love to co-teach with you guys.
And so our second portion of this fast-paced lesson will be with Miss Madam President of Kentucky Shape, Robin Richardson, who is now at Cane Run Elementary. And so, Robin, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Oh, you're muted.
Thank you. Sorry. All right. So we're going to do a quick overview of Plickers and then how you can turn your Plickers into Plagnets and why you might even want to do that or why you may not. All right. So Plickers can be used for assessment and so much more. So this is just my information and I will swoop it back around at the end. The easiest way to probably get me is through email. As much as I am on Twitter, I'm not on Twitter like that. All right, so today's agenda, we're going to discover the Plickers website. We're going to talk about different uses, and then we're going to talk about how to transfer your Plicker cards into magnets. So what is a Plicker anyway, right? So Plickers are an easy tool to be used in the classroom so that teachers can collect real-time data. So this is really about instant information and instant data collection, something that you need immediately. So it could be an assessment, it could be attendance, something as simple as attendance. It provides some very quick check for understanding, maybe even their perception of their skill levels, and it gives all students a chance to participate. And unlike those of you who've been around for a while, you don't have to do like that CPS system where you had to go and kids had to put in a code and then answer a question and it took all day. This is very simple and easy. So what you will do is you'll log on to plickers.com and then you can print out these cards. All they are QR codes, right? So they're QR codes and you can print them out and they can come in different sizes. So you can do large ones, and you can do smaller ones. I've done both. It just depends on how you're going to use those, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So when you go to log in, it's going to ask you to either import your classes from Google Classroom or just name yours. I have never imported from Google Classroom, so I don't know what that looks like in real life. I've always just named my class, first hour, second hour, Miss So-and-so's class, whatever. I've always done that. But if you want to try the import from Google Classroom, I'm imagining it's going to take that big, long, complicated name, which is something I would not want to do. That's just me. So then you can either type in names or you can, what I used to do is, especially my secondary teachers, you have the option to go into IC, click rosters, pull, copy and paste your names into a Word document or docs, and then copy and paste them in there. All right, so where it says first name, last name right here, you can type those or you can just copy and paste. I used to copy and paste. And so when you do that, then the number automatically comes up. So Betty Runner is number 1, Tammy Tumbler is number 2. You can decide how you want to sort them. You can sort them as you enter them by their first name, by their last name. You need to move somebody because maybe you want to do it by their squad spots. Just move them around, change the number. It's a real easy piece. There's drop down boxes. You can change numbers. You can delete numbers. You can do all that. It's really simple. So as you put them in, then each student is assigned a number. And the number is up in the right-hand corner of the card. You see where the red circle is circled? So this student's number is 23. This is their Plicker card. And that's how they know which card is theirs. And then like for each, you just named your classes. So if they know they're 23 for that class, when you go to scan it, it comes up their name and their answers. So you have answers choices are A, B, C, D. All right, so if they want their answer to be A, then the A would be on the top. If they wanted their answer to be D, D would be on the top. So they would just hold the card up and then you would scan it using either your iPhone or your Android phone or your iPad. I've seen people even use their Chromebooks to do it. To me, it was just easier to I use my phone all the time, pull my phone out of the pocket, and then pop it up and look. A lot of people use their iPads if they have iPads or tablets. So the first time, because I didn't have a magnetic board, I used an old school shoe thing that you would buy from, I think I bought that one years ago and I bought a new one and I think I got it from Myers. All right, so I numbered them and then put the cards inside of those. So when they came in the gym, they knew to grab their number. So for me, because I'm a little OCD and I needed their squad numbers to match, their squad number and their Plicker card were the same. So if you were number 1, you grab number 1, so on and so forth. They grab it, they come to wherever I was projecting, see what their question was, I'd scan it, and then they do whatever the next task was, or I'd have them walk and talk first, then grab them, just whatever your procedures need to be around them. I use this because then I don't have to take time to go through and try to pass them out. They're in there, the next class is ready, they go put them back, we're ready to roll. So when you download the app on your phone or tablet, then this is what you look like when you see results. So the question may say this, it'll say 5 people answered this, 1 did this. And then if you go here, you can actually see where it says students, I can see who did what. A red dot when you're actually scanning it at the time means they got it wrong, a green means they got it right. And the kids only see on the board, you can choose to show them percentages, you can choose to show, it never shows who got it right or wrong, right? It just shows you how to do it. So, and when I first started using this, I used it for attendance purposes because in middle school, we had to take attendance. And so, and they had nooks and crannies and hiding, and I know if they were late, I just didn't have time to fool with it. So grab your card. It may have been a question about something we were doing or going to do, or it may just been, are you here today? What is today? And if they put it up, then I know, and I scan them, then I could go in and mark my attendance and I see why they were walking and talking or doing something else. Never wanted to be late on that attendance or forget to do it. And it also helped me see what I needed to know if it was something else. So, so then I decided I was going to turn them into plagments or to magnets, right? Ooh, that's a typo. So make it easier to manage, right? So there are a trillion zillion, and I'm not exaggerating, different ways you can do this. You can go square, you can go round. All right, so I'm going to take you really quickly through the idea of how this works. So the Plicker Assessment magnets, this is linked, and when I give you this link, it'll take you to, let me show you this really quick, to the physicaleducator.com, with Joey Fife, which is something that Rebecca mentioned in her earlier presentation, has a whole blog where 3 or 4 years ago, he did this whole thing on Plickers. Him and Mike Nicola have this whole thing. It has been remixed so many different times. And as a matter of fact, I need to add mine to the to the drive because mine's remixed of the remix, all right? So you have this link where you can go see how it can be used and all that. And I'm gonna show you how I used it. And I did mine double-sided because you know me, I'm a little extra. All right, so here is how you do this. So the first thing you do is go to the Plicker site. In the corner, it says get started, click get started. You go there and then you print out the cards. If you're going to do squares or circles, depends on what size you're going to get. All right. Then you're going to pick a template. So in this, my Genicola has a Google Drive with multiple templates for different sizes that you can use to help create yours. So if you click on this link, it literally is going to take you to a Google Drive that has 100,050 different ways that people have done this. You got to kind of figure out what works for you. And I will share mine with you. I could not get mine to upload inside of it. And then I didn't want to bother Mike again about permissions for the drive, but I may have to do that anyway.
Robin,
most
will
of
you be sure to share the link to your presentation when you're finished with your section?
Absolutely. And then this is what it looks like, but if you're going to make magnets, it is a little work. Okay, so it's an investment, but to me, your return on investment's worth it. So either you're going to use a camera tool or snipping tool, and you're going to, this is kind of what it looks like. So you pull those cards up on plicker.com. You're literally going to copy it and then paste it into whatever format you want to do. I use Avery template square labels for mine. If you were going to do the round ones, you could do the round ones. If you were going to do, it just depends on what you want to do. And if you need help, like trying to decide what you think will work best for you, let me know. I don't care to help you with that. So if you click on this link later on, it's just a Google Doc that shows you what you're going to need if you want to do round ones. All right, so you're going to need to buy the little round ones, the little magnet things on the back. I wasn't doing any of that because I just wasn't doing any of that. So I went the other route. All right, so I use the square plaque mates. All right, so literally these are not the cheapest little things. Oh, I forgot I got my background on. These are not the cheapest things to buy, but for me, they were worth it because I was going to do the double-sided ones. All right, and I'll show you what I mean in just a second. Then you can take and download the 3x3 square label template, or you can buy the labels. The labels aren't that expensive if you want to do the stickers labels, or you can just download the template. The download the template is free, and then just print them out and then tape them on. I bought the labels, but I also taped over top of them for security purposes. Okay, so I'm gonna turn my background off really quick. Maybe. So you can kind of see. Okay, so these are what the magnets look like. All right, they're just magnets. And then when you put the on there, I did double-sided, and I'm going to tell you why I did double-sided in just a minute. So when I did the double-sided ones, I had one side that was just like more like cognitive, your ABCD typical things. And then on the other side, I did this thing where I wanted kids to self-assess and then eventually learn to assess each other about a skill. So they say, wow, not yet, getting there, got it. Right? And so I just moved the labels around so that A is always getting there, B was always got it, C was not yet, and D was wow. All right, you literally just manipulate and move it around because it's a picture, right? That you clipped, you're just gonna move it around to make it where you want it to be. The other ones are randomly done so the kids can't cheat off each other. All right, and so for my secondary people, who go, well, the kids mess with other people's magnets? Not usually, but if they do, they know there's some consequences, but that's about you building culture in your classroom. And also my kids, I don't know, I promise you I didn't tell them this, but they thought it was connected to IC. So they always make sure they got it done so they wouldn't get marked absent and stuff. I promise you I did not tell them that, but I did not also tell them it wasn't. But hey, they think it's connected to Infinite Campus. And I think that came about because when I copied and pasted some names, because I didn't know kids, their government names came up, right? And so they thought, oh, so works for me. And then how you're going to display them. So I had a board. I'm a little OCD, but they each have their numbers on them, both sides. I made squares. The numbers are written there. And then I added color to it because kids will act like they can't find theirs. Well, you're blue and you're 1, there you go. Okay, if you're green, you're 2, you can kind of see the numbers there, right? And tape is just like painter's tape type, and I put it up there. The kids knew, come up to the board, read the question, go walk and talk, put it there. While they were walking and talking, I scanned, I took attendance, and then they met me in the middle, and then we had a conversation about the results of our Plicker question. If it was one of the skill questions, or if it was one of the content questions, they want to know how many people got it right. Did I get it right? They were all in. They wanted to know. So it became a really good skill to use, especially with my middle schoolers. Mike Genicola has this whole video. It's really long. He did a presentation at the one of the institutes, the P Summit in 2017. They walked you through every single little thing you would need to know about this. All right, so I added that video. Of course, we do not have time to look at it, but it's there. If you have questions, let me know. Again, it's a little work, but to me, the return on investment is important. The Play magnets are not the cheapest. I know they're about $20-something if you can find them on Walmart.com. At one point they were out of them on Amazon, but I haven't looked lately. I went to UPS and had them print out on labels, just because by the time I was going to get down to, print them down at where MeMe lives and works at Camp Edwards, it was just not worth it to me. I just took them to UPS, had them printed out, took tape, packing tape, put a coat over it, I'm remaking these because I don't have as much space for next year. I'm not gonna be able to use all 6 colors. I'm gonna be using 5. I won't have as many kids, and so I'm gonna remake them, and then try to make the images of the letters, because the older kids, I thought they couldn't see the letters anymore, and I thought I was answering this question. But a lot of the times, like the perception of their skill levels, like I'll give you a perfect example. I was doing juggling, right? So it was an intro to juggling, and I wanted to know how many people could juggle. That was just their intro question, and also allowed me to take tennis. And so they were going to use this side, right? The get it, got it, wow, which one? And it corresponds with what I put inside of, the Plicker question. So it's up there, and I had a wow. I was like, somebody knows how to juggle. So I found that person. I go, you know how to juggle? They're like, well, I was like, okay, so the rule is if you pick wow, you should be able to teach the class. So that stopped everybody from picking wow, because I said, if you don't say wow on the skill, if you couldn't help me teach the class. So, the kids' perception of what they can and can't do is a little different, but to me, it got those kids trying to think about what I can do. It could even be about their social and emotional learning on these too, right? Sometimes my question, I use this side, just a QR code, how are you feeling today? So then I know where their heads were at when I was going to start teaching. And so some of those questions are very non-threatening. So if you start with those non-threatening questions, how are you feeling today? Things like that. Then when you go to do a little more meatier stuff with content, definitions, concepts, then they're not as hesitant. They're familiar with it. And what I hope to do with our new panels is turn these into gifts that the kids can just rotate on the touch screen. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that, but that's my hopes and dreams. So then I can still give them assessments and things, or in the middle class, like say we're working on, I don't know, pickleball for middle school, or maybe throwing for elementary. I want them to go and assess how they're doing. Where are you at? Are you at a 1? Are you at a 2? Are you 3 or 4? Are you getting it? Not quite there yet. I can have them go in the middle class, have them change it, go back and work. I can scan, I can see where we're at. I can see where I need to do. I can also use it to place kids in centers for the next time. There's lots of ways you can use it to get feedback from where your kids are at and where you need to enter instruction. Are there any questions? I know that was quick, but I know I only had a little bit of time.
I think you did an amazing job. And I think if I were in the classroom, I would definitely be using these.
All right, I'm gonna grab the link to this and then put it in I'm gonna stop sharing first. Maybe. How do I stop sharing?
Go to screen share. There you see at the top, it says you're there. I can stop your screen sharing.
She's gonna ground me. Oh, I'm on the other screen because I got two screens. I understand what you're saying. Never mind. Well.
So it should say up at the top, there should be a bar that says you are recording. It should be green and it has a
Stop
red that
share.
says-
Got it. Thank you.
There you go.
I'm a little slow. All right. And so I'm going to put the link to this in the chat.
While she's doing that, everybody stand up and stretch. Do some shoulder shrugs, do some arm, or do some I don't know, some cat and cow and yoga poses, and mountain two, and knock yourself up into a ball and just kind of stretch it out for a minute.
And it's going to force you to make a copy of it.
It says we need access.
Stop it. Okay, hold on. I wonder why it does that, because we're all Jefferson County. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, try it now. Nope.
Well, it comes up to make a copy. I'm clicking
Okay.
make a copy, but nothing's happening.
Did you click make a copy?
I am. It's spinning. My computer's just slow.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to thank Robin for her Plicker session, and I want to thank Rebecca for taking over for DeAldon for the Nearpod session. I'm going to finish you up with the world's fastest Twitter presentation, and it is for all levels. And it is the world's largest PLN. And if you want to know what a PLN is, it's a vibrant, ever-changing group of connections to which teachers go to both share and learn. These groups reflect our values, passions, and areas of expertise. So basically, you're part of a PLC, a professional learning community, but Twitter is bigger than a PLC. It's a network. It's global. It's everybody in the whole world tweeting, and through Twitter, you can find your community through hashtags. So there are 5 steps to be successful on Twitter. And I want you to know that you don't have to be at the level of being able to follow, reply, retweet, share, and repeat. You don't have to be at that level to be successful. Most people, when they join Twitter, they just lurk for a while. And I call it lurker. You can call it a stalker. You can call it whatever you want. But most people, when they get a Twitter account, they don't feel very comfortable, and they don't know what to do. So I want to start out with this s'more, and let me make a copy of my presentation and put it in the chat. And then I will also make a copy of this s'more. And this is a s'more that I have used for I don't know how long. And it's as basic as I can get with Twitter. And I want to scroll down and go to what the symbols mean on Twitter, because a lot of people, when they're just getting started, they don't know the difference. The ampersand or the @ sign is the person. That is the who and the user. I am at MeMe3RAT. That is my person on Twitter. I tweet, and I try to get you all to tweet using the hashtag JCPSHPE. Now that's the topic. So the @ sign is the user. The hashtag is the topic. And if you can remember those two things and understand how to use the search bar, then you can be good at Twitter. That's the only thing. If you just understand the difference between the user and the hashtag and understand where the search bar is, then you can be very successful at Twitter. Now, the cool thing about Twitter is that no matter if you're on an Android, if you are on an Apple, if you're on whatever other spacely device there might be out there, all of the symbols are always going to be the same on Twitter. And so the hashtag will always be hashtag. The user or the @ will always be the @ sign. And the search bar is always going to be the magnifying glass. So anytime that you want to search and find something in Twitter, you're going to use the magnifying glass. So I am going to pop up a new screen. Can you guys see a cat?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I have this silly extension that has cats that come on. So if I wanted to search Twitter and be able to use Twitter, I'm going to go to the magnifying glass, and I could either look for a person. There's myself because I did the and, or I could search for a topic. Now, every tweet that we've tweeted this week has come up, and I've asked people to use the hashtag JCPS HPE. So I searched in the magnifying glass or the search bar for that hashtag. That's the topic. So every tweet on earth, if people were tweeting about JCPS HPE from New South Wales, Australia, it would show up in this thread. So let's see who's been tweeting about it today. Obviously me. JCPS Digital Innovation had a tweet, and it had the hashtag JCPS HPE, so it showed up. Our good friend Rebecca Reynolds had some tweets that showed up. And so I chronicle everything about JCPS HPE. Here's yesterday, Daniel had one. So that's everything in the world. And our topic is kind of small because it's just us. If you want to find out what's going on in the world of phys ed, and you went to the search bar, you could find out every person on earth who is searching phys ed. Here's some of Miss Daniels' phys ed, who has experience teaching orienteering at the elementary level. Could you share your experience at any resources you use at this unit? Here's somebody sharing an agility ladder. So this is everybody in the whole world that has tweeted a topic, and in their tweet has included phys ed. How many of you, I know Robin, you've tweeted, Sweezy, you've tweeted on here before. Have you ever tweeted using the hashtag JCPS HPE?
I know I've done retweets.
You've done retweets. What's a retweet, Robin?
So someone either mentions, well, it doesn't have to be necessarily they mention you, but most of the time when someone mentions me or tags me in one, I try to retweet it to get up notifications or seen of it. Or like if I see something I really like and I think it's a great idea that I'd want to share, I can either put like @MeMe and then it'll pop up so that you can see it, or just retweet it for people who do see things on my thread, and then they could see, oh, she saw this and she thought this was cool or whatever.
Sweezy, you've tweeted in JCPS HPE, haven't you?
When I can remember to.
So if Sweezy puts out the best tweet in the world and it doesn't have a hashtag, only the people that follow Sweezy are going to see that tweet, and it would show up in their feed. If Sweezy adds that hashtag JCPS HPE, then it's going to show up in our feed. And the goal of the reason that I'm doing this is I want us to be able to share resources and have one stop that we can find it. Rebecca, where are you? What hashtag do you use for your work, Rebecca?
I'm eating a sandwich. Hashtag JCPS digin.
So every time, if I were to go to, let's see if I'm going to share my screen again. Sorry, you had something in your mouth. I put you on the spot. If I go to hashtag, go to the search bar, so my magnifying glass, and go to JCPS, dig in, I can see everything that people are tweeting about in technology in JCPS. So there's a cool event called KY Go Digital that's happening on July 21st. If you want to see that, I tweeted about Eduardo. So our sessions are on there. Elaine Abernathy tweeted about using Desmos. Here's our tweet from the tweet that they have for us. You can see it's got hashtag JCPS HPE in it. When I first joined Twitter, I followed the Kardashians. I can wholly admit that I was obsessed with the Kardashians back in the year 2011. And I just used Twitter to follow famous people. And I found out that if I used the hashtag PhysEd, I could start making friends from around the world that were passionate and we're talking about the same subject. So instead of just following people, I started following subjects. There is more information on hashtag PhysEd out there. If you would follow hashtag HealthEd and hashtag PhysEd, even if you never tweet out what you're doing, which is a cool thing to do, if you can learn how to go to Twitter and how to, I got to charge my computer here, so I got to plug in. If you could go and learn how to search those hashtags, you will become a better teacher because you're going to be learning things that are great. We've talked about Joey Fife and Mike Ginicola and the Fulmers and all of these people, and all of these great folks are sharing things on Twitter. Now I'm going to come back to this thing that I shared. And this is my Twitter basics for teachers. It's the s'more that's in my presentation. It goes through how you create an account. It talks about how you create your account. It talks about what the symbols mean. It tells you how to interact with another user. And it tells you how to tweet. Then at the bottom, it's got how to really personalize it. If you want, there are some basic rules to tweet by, and then there's a link to how to take part in a Twitter chat. So if you want to get a Twitter account and set one up and learn the basics, if you were to follow this format and go to twitter.com, this would walk you through the process of how to set up an account. And it's really, really, really very easy. I cannot tell you how easy it is. I will say that you don't have to follow a lot of people, but when you're searching for a hashtag and you come upon somebody that you see tweeting about it, there's always an option. If you hover over anything that's blue in Twitter is clickable. So if you hover over their name, you can follow them. And then every time that they tweet something, it will show up in your feed. So you can follow, if you have a Twitter account, why don't you go ahead and put your Twitter account using the @ so people can know. If you have a Twitter account, go ahead and put your username in the chat. So I'm at MeMe3Rat. Rebecca is at Tech for Teach. I have known Kyle McCune on Twitter. Kyle, how long have you been on Twitter? You've been on longer than me, haven't you? Since what, early 2011?
I don't know the actual year, but I think it was like when it first came out. There's a guy named Will Richardson that I followed that started doing it and just experimenting with it. Maybe 07 or 08. I think it says it on my account.
Yeah, my Twitterversary is in January of every year, and I joined in 2011, and Kyle was already on there. And Kyle has been an active member of the phys ed community for longer than I have. There's also a hashtag if you're really techie. So Eduardo and Chris would like hashtag PE Geeks. That's all these people that use a lot of technology in their work. And so hashtag PE Geeks is a really good one to share. If you go to Twitter, my challenge for you today is to tweet something and use the hashtag JCPSHPE. Even if your tweet said, I'm learning a lot at the Summer Institute, and you just had, anytime that you add the hashtag JCPSHPE, anytime you add it, that's going to show up in the feed, so it would show up. So my challenge for all of you is at some point, I see Sally's on her phone right now. I hope you're on Twitter, Sally. So I hope that you guys can all maybe share a picture. You can share a GIF on Twitter. You can get funny, but hopefully all of you will pose a tweet. So then if we search hashtag JCPSHPE, your tweet will show up. Now, if you want to find what's been going on so far, if you've missed a session, you can also go back and use the magnifying glass. If you know how to use the magnifying glass and you know the difference between the @ and the hashtag, I promise it's not that hard. Anybody can be successful on Twitter, and you don't have to be super active. You can just follow a hashtag, and anything that's blue, you can click on links and find resources. Does anybody have questions about Twitter?
Well, I just took a picture and it said to add to fleet. What does that mean?
Add to fleet?
Yeah, it said fleet, and I guess I took a
Like
picture.
an Instagram story. It's like a story.
Oh, whoops, I put it on a story thing. That's what it is for Twitter. It's fleet.
Yes. So that's newer. If you, a great one to follow is, I think I'm doing this right, is Kentucky_shape or shape_KY. It's one of those. And that is our professional organization.
Mimi,
Shape
I don't-
I'll type it in there.
Okay, good. I know you have a 50-50 chance of being right. Eduardo, what were you getting ready to say?
I don't tweet a lot, like almost none, but I always looking for different activities for other PE teachers. And the way I can keep those so I can look at them later is I share those and put it on my Google Keep. And Google Keep is like notes on other devices. So I have a bunch of activities and I just give them a topic. So if I'm looking for an activity of throwing, what I do, I just go to Google Keep, go throwing, and then just pull back those tweets from all the great teachers, and I have an activity.
That's awesome, Eduardo. I love that. You can also like, so there's a little heart just like there is on Facebook, and every tweet that you like, it will save that to like a big running list. So everything that you've ever liked, you can pull up. So that's another thing to use. Any other questions or comments about
Bookmark things you want to keep.
Yeah.
Like, so I'll find a video or a game or activity that I think is really neat that I don't really have time to totally explore. So there's a little arrow, like you're going to like, it's like a share out arrow, and then it'll pop up. You can save it or bookmark it, and then it'll just save in your bookmarks, and then you can go back to it later and look at it.
Oh, that's better because I usually email it all to myself.
Yeah.
It'll
Save you a little bit of time. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I find them because there's a bunch of Google presentations that I used a lot through NTI, and they would all be ready. And then all you had to do is kind of, they're all templates, and then you just kind of put your own information in.
If any of you would like one-on-one help with setting up an account, in 30 minutes time, I can have you up and going. In an hour's time, I can have you up and going and understanding how to use GIFs and GIFs and Skippy peanut butter and Peter Pan peanut butter and all the different things on Twitter. So if you are interested in a one-on-one lesson, I am around and would love to help out. If it's something that you feel like you just want to get a little bit better at and want a one-on-one, 30 minutes would be all you would need. I could definitely hop on a Zoom and we could walk through it. It's not that hard to remember the basics, and the basics are really all that you need. I will say that Twitter is easier to use than Facebook, even though a lot of people think it's intimidating. There's less to using Twitter than there is Facebook. I have dropped the validation question in the chat. At least I think I have. Yes, Eduardo's got it, so I know it's working.
That one is for Plickers.
Plickers, Nearpod, and Twitter, correct?
That's right.
Yep, that's the one you want.
Excellent.
Eduardo, I have that same exact color in that shirt. That was my favorite color.
I love it.
I was going to tell him earlier that I liked this shirt, but I thought I'd be cheesy.